noises begin to emanate from behind the closed door. Guest gives no indication that they are unfazed by the unpleasant sounds. Imagine you're hosting a visitor at your residence. They decide to use the downstairs bathroom, and before long, the unmistakable bathroom noises fill the air. However, your guest displays no signs of discomfort. When they emerge, do you politely feign ignorance of the noise? Politely ask the guest if they're feeling okay? Demand a public apology from the guest for subjecting you to such an unpleasant experience? You only get one guess which one was the clean freak's choice. Wife used my toothbrush and was surprised when I told her I don't want to use it anymore. My wife and I are posting this together to determine who is in the wrong. We are staying at a hotel tonight and she forgot her toothbrush. She walks out of the bathroom brushing her teeth. A toothbrush controversy has led to a temporary hotel stay, with a difference of opinion between my wife and me. We're co-authoring this post to help determine who's at fault. My wife left the bathroom, only to return with my toothbrush in hand, her mouth still aglow from brushing her teeth. She nonchalantly pointed to the toothbrush as a sign that she had used it, and burst into laughter. In response, I expressed my desire to discard the toothbrush. She appeared taken aback by my stance, attempting to reason with me that it was just a one-time incident and that I should continue using it. However, I stood firm in my decision. It's worth noting that she had consumed a small amount of alcohol at the time, which may have influenced her reaction. TLDR, we're seeking opinions on whether I'm overreacting or my wife is being unreasonable in this toothbrush controversy. Update: no updates at this time. Edit: none. AITA for secretly messing with my neighbor's Wi-Fi because their loud content annoys me. I live in a small apartment building, and my neighbor streams really loud, adult content all the time. It's been going on for months. I've asked them to keep it down, but nothing. Chan. Am I the asshole for discreetly tampering with my neighbor's Wi-Fi because their excessive content is disrupting my peace? I reside in a compact apartment complex, and the neighbor next to me frequently streams extremely loud, mature content without any regard for those around them. This has been ongoing for several months. I've politely asked them to keep the volume down, but my request has fallen on deaf ears. Feeling frustrated, I found a way to subtly manipulate their Wi-Fi signal. Whenever I intervene, the noise ceases temporarily. However, I'm experiencing some pangs of guilt. Should I cease my actions, or do I have a valid reason to continue since they've shown no consideration for my well-being? TLDR: disrupting neighbors' loud adult content with Wi-Fi tampering. Bank is requiring that I fly out to receive my inheritance. I have a few questions. My grandfather died in the spring and apparently he made an account that he put money in for me in his state, TN. I live in Massachusetts and my mom just told me that I have to fly out T. Inheritance claim presents unforeseen travel requirements. I've recently learned that a bank in my grandfather's state of residence, TN, is requesting my presence to collect an inheritance. The situation unfolded after my grandfather's passing in the spring. I reside in Massachusetts and my mother has informed me that I need to travel to Tennessee to retrieve the funds. I'm left wondering whether it's standard practice for banks to demand in-person meetings for this purpose. The inheritance is shrouded in mystery, as neither my mother nor I are aware of its exact amount. This has led me to question whether the potential financial reward justifies the costs associated with traveling to a relatively remote area in Tennessee. If the inheritance is indeed modest, I may be facing an unnecessary expense. I'm seeking guidance on how to proceed in this situation and would appreciate any advice or insight that might be available. Y'all, I'm actually going crazy. My iPhone passcode just deleted itself from my brain. I've used the same passcode for years, like at least 4 years. And this morning I went to unlock my phone and it's just gone. To make it all worse, I'm an idiot and I haven't backed up info. It's happening. I've lost my iPhone passcode and it's driving me nuts. This passcode has been stuck in my head for years, a good 4 years or more. But this morning, it vanished without a warning. To make matters worse, I'm one of those careless people who hasn't backed up my data in ages. In the past, I was diligent about syncing my phone, but those days are long gone. At this point, I'm starting to consider the possibility that I subconsciously changed my passcode while I was asleep. It's a pretty ridiculous thought, but it's also a reflection of how frazzled I'm feeling right now. I'm stuck with an 8-hour lock, and it's killing me. My fingers are itching to tap in the passcode, but it's gone from my memory, and the muscle memory that used to help me out isn't working anymore. Edit: I've added this section. Update: I'll update this section later. TLDR: a person has lost their iPhone passcode after years of using the same one and is struggling to remember it. Lie to me to park in my lot when I'm trying to close it so I can go home. Good luck getting out. Quick one. I was security guarding a parking lot last night for a small local performance venue. Parking is free but only for the patrons. Just before the last car left, a carpool, trying to deceive me to get a free spot in my lot when I'm about to close as a recipe for a stuck vehicle. A brief incident. I was providing security at a local performance venue's parking lot the previous night. The parking is complimentary, but reserved for the event attendees only. As the last vehicle was departing, an unexpected arrival occurred. The driver claimed she needed to pick up her husband and couldn't find a space, assuring me she would only be a 5-minute wait. Moved by her plea, I allowed her to park, but it was a misguided decision. Time ticked by 5 minutes turned into 10, then 30, and still she lingered. After a full hour, I proceeded to secure the parking lot and head home for the night, leaving her and her husband to their own devices. TLDR: tow trucks handle broken promises. Small but sweet. Have a neighbor. Nosy neighbor we shall say. Always watching what is going on and making comments. Rigged a 12V blinking red bulb to a power supply and a timer so red light would blink in basement window each evening. Not bright, barely noticeable throw F. A minor victory of subtlety. I have a neighbor with a keen eye for detail. He often finds himself observing and commenting on the goings-on in our community. To counter this, I set up a clever little gadget. I rigged a 12V blinking red bulb to a power supply and a timer, which causes the red light to flicker in my basement window each evening. The light is dim and barely visible through the frosted glass. I was never certain if my neighbor even noticed the light, but a recent party gave me the answer. A friend of his inquired about the red glow emanating from my home, and I played the part of the oblivious neighbor, feigning ignorance about the light. But the real payoff was when he mentioned the light was driving his neighbor crazy. It seems my clever trick has successfully thrown them off their game, and I've emerged victorious. TLDR: a clever homeowner rigs a subtle red light in their basement window to keep their nosy neighbor guessing, and ultimately outsmarts them. Edit: no updates. Update: no updates. How dare you fail my child? Pouting my child, 18, works as a lifeguard at a swim club. Children between the ages of 5 to 11 are required to successfully complete a swimming proficiency test before they are allowed to swim in the adult section for the season. Inevitably, some parent will. The audacity of some parents never ceases to amaze me. A teenager, 18, who works as a lifeguard at a local swim club is faced with the inevitable backlash when children between the ages of 5 to 11 fail the required swimming proficiency test. Parents of these children often become defensive and argumentative, claiming that the lifeguard is being too strict and